Hey guys, it's Josh. This is the Skype for Business recap. It is a very sunny, beautiful Saturday, so I thought why not record outside today? Got a nice little background going here, so we'll take advantage of that. I don't have a ton of content to present today. There actually wasn't too much I found that I wanted to go over from the last week, so we'll try to make this a little shorter and sweeter this week than it might have been last week. I had a lot to talk about then. But yeah, let's get straight over to it. Let's not waste much time there. Jump over to the infinity screen. Perfect. Here we go. I do apologize. It is a bit of a windy day. This area is kind of windy on and off, and hopefully the earpiece is doing a good job killing some of that background noise. Oh, we're hanging out in the infinity screen a long time here. All right. Moving along. First thing, we have a couple articles from the tech community, actually. If you guys aren't familiar with the tech community yet, go check it out. techcommunity.microsoft.com. Kind of think of it as a sort of new TechNet. All right. There's a lot of blog posts that are shared here, as well as people asking questions and getting clarification and interacting with each other. So check it out. If you're not familiar with it yet, it is a very good community to sign up for, be a part of, and get in the mix. I haven't been too active there recently, but I need to get back in the mix. Okay, so this first one, enhancing Skype for Business online meetings for external participants. This is pretty cool. What we're talking about at a very high level here is the product team has released a new and improved web app for Skype for Business online meetings with some improvements. I'm going to go over what those improvements are, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that people are not thrilled about, and then we'll kind of get a step-by-step view of what this looks like. Um, First, simplified meeting join experience with single-click join experience for Internet Explorer. This is, we'll talk about what that means a little bit more, but they have slightly simplified the joining process. If you've ever had to have clients or others join externally in your organization a Skype for Business meeting and they've used the web app, sometimes that's not the most fun thing to do when it comes to the add-in that has to be downloaded and installed. So if you're getting excited thinking that was done away with, dial back the excitement just a tad. We'll get into that in a second. Join audio conference via PSTN callback. That's pretty cool. Always fresh client. We'll talk about what that is talking about there. And then optimized screen real estate for content sharing and collaboration. To me, that is one of the biggest pieces right there. The biggest upgrades and positive aspects is that we're moving in the direction where we've had a lot of wasted screen real estate. In other words, you join the meeting in that black background that you see in a Skype for Business meeting, you have a lot of that. And then the small area in the middle of the screen with people's pictures and things around it for the content you're sharing, like your desktop you're sharing or presenting a document or a PowerPoint or whatever. It's just a lot of wasted space on the screen, and it's really hard to zoom in and see what you need to focus on. They have made that space less wasted, made PowerPoint presentations fill up more of the area. So it's a good improvement, probably one of the better features here. Um, let's go down a little bit and talk about this. I'm going to give you the link. You can go back and watch this video. It's only a minute and 4 seconds, and it is really just going over a brief what does it look like to join the meeting if you don't already have the add-in, and then what does the screen look like once you do that. So that's all we got there. Moving on down below that, we've got a 1, 2, 3 sequential steps of how this goes. So you click on the link to join the meeting. You're presented with the screen. How do you want to join? You can say, I want to join using my client like normal, or if you don't have one, I want to install the add-in. I want to install and join with the Skype for Business web app. After you get prompted to install that really quick, which you don't need admin rights to do, it installs it really fast, then brings you to this screen. You type in your name and hit join. You also have the option there to join using an Office 365 account if you want. And then after you click that, it does its little connection, joins you to the meeting. You see who's already there. In this example, Garth, as it were, was already sharing a PowerPoint presentation. And so that pops right up for you to see. As you can see, it takes up a lot more of the screen, a very good presentation. We're not wasting as much space. It is a good look and feel. The other thing they give you is this yellow bar at the bottom. Connect with your phone, audio only. If you click on that, we've got an option here to call me back at, and then specify the number you want to be called back at, or I will dial in. So if you got the meeting dial in information, you can use that. Other additional improvements. The new web app supports video-based screen sharing. So that's going to improve the overall experience, better protocols for sharing, smoother stream, etc. That's a big improvement, not to mention the real estate improvements there. Disabled controls. We've got the controls that are all disabled for sharing content, unless, of course, you make the user a presenter, in which case they can then share all their controls. And then a couple other points that we kind of already went over here. The always fresh client. Every time the web app will check for a new version when you join a meeting each time you join a new meeting. So if an update is available, it downloads in the background, and then you will join the meeting. Okay, after it has ended, the web app will update itself. The new versions of the web app are backward compatible with earlier versions of the web app. So really that whole aspect there is kind of a big improvement over the way the add-in worked previously. Now, the big complaint here, everybody wants to know what happened to the whole focus on WebRTC, ORTC. Why are we not doing that? Why are we still using add-in? Why are we making external participants have to install something instead of just using a pure browser-based experience? Very good questions. I hope that is coming up soon. I hope that is still the plan and we're moving in that direction. I understand the frustration from many people that have voiced that question. Until we get to that point, however, I will say, product team, great job on this. This is a step in a more positive direction. So good stuff there. Next up, another tech community article. This is an article talking about the problem in which a user has ported up numbers to Skype for Business Online. And before auto attendant and call queues were GA, they had a really nice number they wanted to use, easy to remember, good for their business, like this 500-1111. Since they didn't have a main auto attendant they could assign that to, what they used was a user. They just assigned that number to a user, so someone would be answering this great phone number. Perfect, not a problem. Now, call queues enters the scene with auto attendant, and we want to assign that number to auto attendant now. You cannot assign a user number to it, and there is no way in the GUI to convert that user number to a service number. You previously had to port that number back out of Skype for Business Online and then back in again as a service number. What a hassle. The way to avoid this is to obviously have ported it up separately as a service number in the first place. But again, in the situation we're talking about, you needed to use the number. You didn't have call queues or auto attendants, so you had a user use it. Now, for US-based tenants, there is a workaround. It is not something you can do on your own. You have to submit one of two ways: a service request in the Office 365 Admin Center, or a Microsoft Premier support case. One of those two options. You're pretty much submitting a request saying, please change this for me. The second part of it is they're going to change it. They're going to ask you to follow up. They do say, look, there is no SLA, so don't hold us to any exact timeline. Normally this will be done in a few days, but could take longer, could be done quicker. Keep that in mind. Another thing, once they're making the change, the number may briefly disappear from the portal. So if you're keeping a close eye and suddenly that number isn't there one day, do not freak out. It will be unavailable for a few brief period until that conversion takes place, and then you can assign it to your auto attendant call queues and move forward. So that is the conversion process. Really not the most desirable, but it's better than what you had before. And for everybody that's not US based, hopefully it's coming soon. A good thing to take note of. Hopefully this helped some of you. Hopefully they improve upon this process even more in the coming weeks and months. All right, moving past this. This is a blog post by Anthony Carrigal, Office Servers and Services MVP, based out of the Chicago area. This is the kind of thing I normally don't share. I don't share blog posts about tips or tricks or things like that very often. I try to cover what's news, feature updates, product updates, enhancements, third-party utility updates that are pertinent to the community, things like that. New products or new tools from the community being put out there in the TechNet gallery or wherever. That's the kind of stuff I stick to. This, however, I thought was a brief article that addressed a widespread issue that many people see because many people are embarking upon the migration from Skype for Business on-prem to online in some sort of way, whether it's pilot or full blown or whatever. And many people are running into an error. Index was outside the bounds of the array when they do the Move-CsUser. Very nondescript, very difficult to know what it's talking about or what the real problem was based on that error. And luckily, Anthony breaks this down for us very quickly. 9 out of 10 times, this is going to be due to two scenarios. A, you don't have the proper permissions. B, you need to make sure the proper licensing has been assigned. As he points out here, B is thankfully very easy to rule out. You go into the Office 365 Admin Center, you pull up the user's properties, and even though you see that the enterprise license has been assigned, you need to open the enterprise license, expand it, look at all the individual license options underneath, and make sure that Skype for Business Online is actually toggled on. That could be your problem. You may think everybody's enabled for E5. What's the problem? But for whatever reason, maybe someone had Skype for Business Online untoggled. That's no good. So check that. Option A, the permissions issue. Read through this to make sure you can see what those things are to start going down that path. Another note that he adds in that was given to him by Mark Vale, another Office Servers and Services MVP based out of the UK. When DirSync or Azure AD Connect is installed prior to a Skype or Lync installation, all the attributes that you need to be synced up to Office 365 are probably not being synced since the Skype installation happened after the Azure AD Connect configuration. So all those attributes might not be present. That could lead to an issue here. You need to go or maybe you're using a third-party IDM and miss these attributes entirely. You're going to need to reconfig the AAD Connect or Sync tool, whatever the choice is there, to include the attributes from Skype for Business or Lync, and that may fix your problem in this regard as well. I have seen that happen, did run into that with a client, and yeah, that was not a fun one to troubleshoot, but once you figure it out, kind of makes sense. He says beyond these 9 times out of 10, he's seen this attributed to provisioned SQL rights pop up and a few other oddities. So check those things. Hopefully this helps you guys. Even in the couple days since he shared it, I've already seen numerous people on Twitter say, thank you. I wish this was here a week or a month ago. A lot of people are running into the same thing, and this is really going to be a helpful post, which is why I wanted to cover it. So thank you, Anthony. Very helpful posts. Last but not least, last week's Skype meeting broadcast from the product team at Microsoft was all about modern voice. Now, this was a collection of videos from Enterprise Connect. This was not their traditional couple guys sitting down doing an actual live broadcast. It was instead a collection of videos, live sessions they did at Enterprise Connect in the Skype for Business booth. So we've got Jamie Stark talking about modern voice, a couple other speakers diving into a few other topics. We see some Surface hubs in the background being used. Some good presentations. So despite the fact that this wasn't a live broadcast, still really good content, and I would still recommend that if you got the time, go check that out, especially if you weren't able to be at Enterprise Connect and watch these things at the booth. All right, back over to the Infinity screen. That's all I got for today, everyone. Thank you for joining me once again. Thank you for coming back week by week if you guys are regulars. If you find it useful at all, funny, informative, whatever, please retweet, share on LinkedIn, share on Facebook or wherever you guys are sharing your content to other people in the Skype for Business community. I greatly appreciate it. And I also appreciate whatever kind of feedback you feel you might want to throw back my way. A lot of people choose to leave a comment on the YouTube video itself. Other people reach out to me on Twitter. Sometimes I get an email. All those are perfectly fine. I love feedback, so please let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hope we will see you back here next Friday or Saturday or whenever I get around to the next episode. And we'll see you then. Adios.